Hi, beautiful Cancer. This is Mary Ellen coming to you from Moonrise Cottage for your August 2018 Soul Tarot reading. Welcome to all the returning viewers and subscribers, and if you're new, it's really wonderful to have you here. It is about midway through the new moon cycle toward the full moon and the eclipse that is coming on the 27th. I've been spending a lot of time with all of the cancers that I know in all kinds of ways, practicing energy streaming, working with individuals to open the heart chakra and let the stream of energy that comes through to you and emanates from you in order to activate that as part of the tapestry that I talk about. So I've been going deep into that place and trying to have the experience so that I can speak with you and channel the messages that are trying to come through. I'm going to do things a little bit differently today. I've been feeling really dreamy. Let me transition over and say hello. Hi, everybody. Okay, Spirit's reminding me. I use the beautiful Celtic Wisdom Tarot deck. It was developed by an incredible woman whose name is Caitlin Matthews, and provides, Spirit's calling it just a wonderful, Spirit's, and obviously it is, there's some chatter coming in, an oracle. The oracle that was meant for me to use in order to stream the messages to come through to me. So while I've been going really deep, attempting to understand and experience the true energy of the Cancer set point in these days of the eclipse, I've been feeling the enormity of the type of flow that comes into you. And Spirit wants to talk with you a lot about the eclipse. So although the intention was the August reading, I think we're mostly talking about the eclipse cycles that are coming through. Okay, so I'm just going to toggle over and I'm just going to channel some messages for a little while, and eventually I will show you the cards, and Spirit's talking about, don't worry, we'll get there, okay? So, again, I just want to thank everyone for their presence and for walking with me on the journey that I'm having, just like you are. Thank you so much. It's a moment of, Spirit saying, intense beauty in all kinds of ways. So I'm going to toggle back to that other picture and we'll jump in, okay? So as I have been experiencing, Spirit's calling it, with people who have the Cancer set point, this is the feeling I have. It is that feeling of entering into the portal, entering into the tunnel for a long journey that has a certain type of energetic, okay, Spirit's calling it, talking about a tractor beam, and I'm getting this, I don't have the right words in my lexicon, but having to do with the feeling that we have when we begin to be drawn in to the deepest, most mysterious, sacred spaces within ourselves, and for you, Cancer, in the moments that we're in. Today's the 17th of July. It has everything to do with making the decision to walk into the mystery. And so that's why I chose this photograph. So in the moments that we're in, given the depth of your opening, Spirit is saying, Spirit just wants to be with you, wanted to be with you today. It's, I call it the perfect moment. I've been a little bit across the veil today, having absorbed the Cancer energy set point, and I had to go and lie down for a little while. I think I talked about that on the live stream. A little bit of astral travel happened, and then all of a sudden the sky opened and it's raining. It's a beautiful, mysterious, a little bit dark day, and there's thunder rumbling. There are storms rolling through. So the internet was down for a while, and I don't know how long it'll last, but I'm going forward because it's the perfect representation in terms of the way I understand things, about what is happening in these moments with this eclipse that came, this partial eclipse of the sun, and the fact that Pluto, pardon me, is standing across the sky, bringing forward from the depths of your being, and Spirit saying into, so that you have the opportunity to really be with yourself on this very mysterious journey. So on this day when there's, pardon me, rain falling, I hope you can hear it. It's beautiful. So I've been sitting here in the house today with the door open, just listening to the Spirit's calling it the sounds of Pluto, and the energy is being pulled in. So let's go back. What I'm getting is that this is what you may be feeling. The energy of this type of an experience for you. And Spirit is inviting you to walk into the tunnel, the passageway, in order to walk through the mystery of the moment and just go as deep as you possibly can. In this moment, Spirit is saying, and again, I think we're talking about the journey from the opening of the eclipse into the next eclipse at the full moon. The way it's going to feel, Spirit is saying, asking actually, please walk in. Please allow yourself to very gently and very slowly walk into the mystery of the heart chakra, that which you hold and represent and vibrate with in the lifetime that you're in, having incarnated in this way. And so in these moments, Spirit's talking about the Lionsgate portal and the things that happened last year. And now we've come, in a sense, full circle. We're in the days of the circle, Spirit is saying. I believe that means full circle. And so you are having a moment when you are being invited in very deeply in order to have a journey into yourself, in order to be able to manifest what is meant to come for you. And Spirit's saying the first step is you have to walk into the tunnel. There's a lot of verbiage coming through like that. So when I looked at your cards, and your cards came out this morning, it reflects that type of a discussion. There is a notion coming through the cards about elopement, what it is to be carried away by sudden understanding, sudden knowledge, through a moment like this that is not expected, but it comes. And then you, and Spirit saying, the Cancer energy, part of what's happening in the opening that presents itself to you in order to walk through the pathway into the destination of the opening of the heart chakra in a way you have not experienced before. There's fear. There is resistance. There is confusion. And Spirit saying, and a little bit of self-questioning. Okay, Spirit saying self-deprecation. That's interesting. And having the experience, Spirit's talking about the dream time a little bit, having the experience of walking into yourself in a way that might be shocking, may cause you to feel off balance and fearful, because it is an unexpected moment in terms of the depths of the feelings that you are experiencing. Pardon me. When you enter into this place, Spirit says, do not, Spirit says, do your best to understand that you can leave your fears at the doorway, and there is no need for you to feel that you are not ready, because the moment wouldn't be happening, the way would not be opening if you were not ready, and you've been prepared in so many ways. I hope you can hear that. Spirit's talking about the voice of Pluto and all the things that are happening. What it is to come into your power and to feel the deep sense of that particular set point as it relates to your being. When you step in, if you make the decision to step in and leave your fears at the doorway, at the entryway, Spirit's saying, when you enter through, you will begin a particular type of transformation that has everything to do, and pardon me, I've been talking about this. It's about coming home to yourself in a very deep, profound way. And perhaps I know that it's happening for some of you because I've been speaking with you. Having a moment where and Spirit's talking about the vestiges of the past and walking through the dream time with yourself into those places in order to walk out transformed. When you step through the passage entry and you begin to travel deep on the energy currents that are available for you, the act of stepping through is the act that brings the transformation, because in that moment you begin to step into yourself. While you travel into this mystery of these moments, and Spirit's talking about all the way through the last eclipse that comes in August, this is the type of journey you'll be feeling. And give yourself permission to be very deeply with yourself and to have your own journey. This is about stepping in to the place in which your empowerment rests. And that is how you will walk into this mystery. That's what Spirit's talking about. And when you travel into this place, there's a long conversation that's happening deep inside of yourself in order to reconcile and integrate yourself with your story, the story of your life, all the things you've been through, and how you are met. Spirit's talking about re-patterning and re-percepting. Okay, so as I've said before, sometimes the English translation is a little challenging for me. So there's a notion of repatterning. There's a notion of coming into a new perception of yourself as a spirit being because of the journey that you're having, because of these days of just walking into the mystery and allowing a new way of knowing yourself to arrive as you walk through the pathway toward the destination that you're meant to have. Obviously, for each person, it's going to be really unique. There are a lot of changes coming. You know it. Cancer, I've been hearing from so many people about, Spirit's talking about the resurrection of your being, having been through the days that you've been walking through since you've been here, the moments that you came to experience. This is a seminal moment in your life. Very obviously, when we see this kind of an image that comes through, Spirit says, while the discussion happens, as you walk into the mystery, you gain your strength with each step that you take, no matter how furtive you may feel. And you begin to develop this self-awareness of your own energy pattern, the types of things that my spirit guides talk about, and walk into the empowerment of your being as you are meant to be. And Spirit's talking about here on the earth, as you are meant to be in this place. Very obviously, it's a deep journey that you're going on through the eclipses. And I spoke a lot on the last live stream about going into the portal, the rise of feminine energy, this notion of rebalancing the internal energies of the male and female in concert with each other. Whatever your set point is, we each have patterns of energy within us, and when we are able to capture them and walk with them, Spirit says arm in arm. Spirit says, imagine yourself walking through this passage with yourself, standing side by side. Oh, Spirit's talking about holding hands. Just touching your own vibration. That thing that happens when you hold someone's hand. You can feel the love energy flowing. We don't pay attention to it, do we? But Spirit's talking about that as the stream is coming through. This journey through the eclipse is meant to be very profoundly healing for you in order to set you on the path, Spirit says, to sort of lift you up, carry you through. While you walk in concert with your own spirit guides, whatever they may be, Spirit says, whatever path you choose to follow, there is really only one path, and we are walking in that destination. In order to let go, because I'm here to testify to that. You guys know me, some of you know my story. You never go back. Once you take this kind of a journey, you set yourself on a pathway, and it develops if you are willing to connect the energy inside of you to that which is meant to come in order to assist you in the transformation that's coming and for your destiny to unfold. So I'm feeling it very deeply. I'm really grateful for the rain. I hope you can hear it. So, as you may know, I posted a few videos over the last, 24 hours, and I sent a message out to everyone who's part of the live stream community. And there are, in these moments, because of the eclipses, part of what's happening, and it's happening all over the world, is there are new ancient sites being discovered. My energy has everything to do with my ancestry and some of the sacred sites that are in Spirit's talking about on the island, meaning Ireland. So if you don't know that news, go to the internet and look it up. It's going to blow your mind. There's a lot of stream coming through. I think maybe I don't want to get distracted. Spirit's giving me a little push. But so wanting you to really sort of go and look, that is going to have something to do with your activation. So this is a healing journey. And every step that you take is you go through the days of the eclipse and you go deeper in, step by step. You have a form of resurrection. Spirit's just saying it. So I'm just, I know it sounds a little bit funny, but that's what's happening. It is about the resurrection of yourself, your spirit self, so that you can inhabit your human form, walk with your energy entwined with itself, whatever that might be. Pay a lot of attention to the Cancer energy, but be aware of the rising sign and the other things that come to you through your astrology, through your chart. If you look into this image, in a sense, in a metaphorical way, Spirit says, it is a roadway, a pathway. That is the purpose of your journey. Spirit says it has always been, And obviously it's true for all of us. For you this month, it's a very deep journey. And if you can, walk with your fears. Allow them to take hold of you and be standing with them so that you can work them through. Understand them, make friends with them. It's part of the, Spirit's talking about initiation. It's part of the initiation journey. It is meant to bring us into a place of terror, in a sense, in order to become one with the information that is embedded in the things that you are afraid of. Ultimately for your liberation, because in those places, actually, there is a lot of power. Clearly, it's a transformative journey that you're on this month. And when I saw the cards come out, I'll show them to you in just a moment. It's an interesting reflection for me as a reader. I'm going to toggle over. You know, when events like this happen, naturally, Spirit says, a lot of people with this set point, they come and they want a reading, and something happens, and they get guided to the people who are meant to help them along their path. And so when I put the cards out, it's kind of an astounding array of some of the things that Spirit's been talking about. But each one of the cards that's here on the table today has been plucked, Spirit's saying, from the readings, the personal readings that came forward. Oh, now it's lightning. Okay, well, I'm going to keep going until this gets cut off, and we'll see what happens, okay? So I'm going to toggle back, and I just wanted to say that to you. Oh, God, the power of Pluto. The activation of your internal power. Fantastic. Spirit's asking me to invite you to feel the energy that is streaming through me today for you, okay, and from the sky. So again, I'm just very grateful that it's a rainy day, that we have the water element here flowing from the sky while this discussion unfolds. And I think part of what I'm feeling is the watery, ethereal power of the Cancer element. So I'm going to jump into the cards. Cancer, that first card, the card that represents the message that Spirit wants to speak with you about, is the Elopement of Knowledge. It has everything to do with coming into an unexpected form of knowing. There's the card. I know you've all heard this story. For those of you that might be new or don't remember, it's the story of a goddess who had a son, and she wanted her child to have access to an enormous amount of wisdom. She hired a young boy. She made a sacred brew, intending it for her son. And Spirit's talking again about the Lionsgate portal. So I guess go look at that video for the sign of Cancer from, I think it was August last year. The intention was that the cauldron, Spirit's talking about liquid magic, all kinds of things streaming through. It was intended to simmer on a fire for a year and a day. And Spirit says these are the days, and you've been simmering. This intention from the spirit realm for you has been, Spirit's just talking about simmering, okay? And what I've been hearing from people is that notion of what it's been like for the last year and the pull that you feel. Spirit's saying the word tractor beam again. I think it means feeling pulled in to the energy and the fear that comes with that. So this card is being used to illustrate the experience that you're having. It is about sudden movement, shift, and change in unexpected ways. Suddenly understanding something that you haven't been able to understand, something you've been searching for. Spirit's talking about the third eye, a type of vision that you've been asking for that is coming through to you now, okay, in these days of the eclipse. So what happened? The cauldron was simmering. The young lad that was hired to mind it, it boiled over. And he reached his hand out and it got burned, some of the liquid splashed on him. And of course, the natural reaction is to put your fingers into your mouth. And in that moment, because it was his destiny, all the knowledge that existed was revealed to him. So Spirit's talking about the knowledge that exists inside of you. And that's why this image of the tunnel, it is about coming through your physical body based on the energy that's happening now into this place, Spirit says. And I'm feeling very activated here while I'm even saying the words. There is something you are going to see as a result of this eclipse. And that you may experience it as a very powerful shift and change in a moment that you didn't expect while you're doing whatever you're doing to align yourself with the energy that's coming through. Okay, Spirit says you may come across someone in your path who will help you, because this, in a sense, it is about two people on their journey, each having an intention. Their intentions didn't play out the way they thought they would, but something did happen. A mystical moment came, and destiny unfolded in the way it was meant to happen. So, the very next card is the beautiful Woman of Battle. As you know, I love the way Spirit talks to these cards about the yin and yang energy. So we hear, and I've been talking about it, the rise of the male energy, the return of the goddess, the ability to meet the portal, the ability for the male energy to transform. And here it is, because we have Pluto standing across the sky from the Cancer element. So the Woman of Battle is a very decisive individual. Spirit says she is unafraid, and she stands, so that's you, and I forgot to say this when I'm a little bit across. The Woman of Battle indicates your energy as you are on this journey of walking into the tunnel, Spirit's saying, okay? So she has been through her own type of transformation, and she represents, in this deck, she represents Queen Maeve, and she is ready and willing to jump into the gap. There is something that has already come over you that has caused you to actually desire this journey. So you have been through the days of simmering. You've been through the days of sudden awakening that caused you to feel a lot of fear and perhaps some confusion, while you did a lot of shape-shifting in your life, coming into different forms of your being, while you were running from that which set you on your path. And in the moment of these eclipses that are coming, you have already reached a certain type of transformation. And so what the Spirit is asking you by showing you this card, to remind you that, like Queen Maeve, the Woman of Battle, to remain alert to all of the energies and the subtle changes that are happening around you. It is in those subtle energies, the things that come to you, because you've been into and out of the cauldron for the transformation, and you arise in this way. It's interesting to me that the feminine energy is displayed here. It is those subtle things that you will feel that carry the energy. The answers, Spirit says, to the questions that you have in these moments. Inside yourself, you know, Cancer. Allow yourself to feel it. Be very alert to the subtle energy that's coming through and the types of things that you begin to understand, Spirit says, as you stand in these days in this way. Right? I love that the dialogue of skill is the first card on the bottom. That's the human realm, the walk you're taking. Spirit's again talking about through these days. That is about reintegration of self. That is about transformation. There's more messaging, and obviously through the illustration, about the transformation of the Cancer male energy set point. That's Merlin. And actually, you know what? Let me toggle back. So when you look at that cauldron, the elopement of knowledge, the spirit message, the theme. When this young man who was going through this rapid, frightening transformation, he tried to hide from it, but, you know, it wasn't his destiny. And what happened in the end was he was transformed, gobbled up by the energy that was chasing him, Spirit says, and I'm getting poked, that's why I'm doing this. There's energy chasing you. You may have been running away from it. You may have been in your fears. It doesn't, Spirit says, no matter, you can't stop it. This process is going forward, and it is better to stand like the woman of battle, the woman who jumps into the gap, who has the ability of very keen Spirit's talking about perceptive abilities in order to utilize and understand the energies that are coming. So, when this transformation happened, the young lad was reborn through a mystical process. And actually, this is who he became when he was reborn. There's a mythical story about this man. He's a great wisdom holder. He was a poet. His name is Talesian. He was a friend of, it's always backwards. He's a friend of Merlin's. And Merlin, who was a magician his whole life, that's his story, Spirit says, also had to go through some transformation. He had to, he came to a place of exhaustion, mental, physical, emotional, psychic exhaustion because of this incredible journey that he'd been on. It stressed him a lot, and he had to have some reintegration in his own life. So it's really interesting to me, all this discussion about the reintegration of the male energy pattern with itself through a mystical process. So be aware. Okay, that's what Spirit's talking about. Be aware in these moments of the subtle energy patterns in your life that are moving, that are shifting, that are changing, so that you can utilize this moment of the eclipses to reintegrate in a place that is very profound and deep. And it is going to affect your life. Spirit says it is not about your life, it is about your being. Okay. The next card, having had that integration, that's the first of the major arcana of the deck. Again, it's beautiful, sacred, very powerful male energy. That is the decider of will. And that's the type of thing that Spirit was trying to get me to talk about, showing this image of the passageway. You will develop your ability to make the decisions that you need to make in order to go forward. Trust yourself, Cancer, you know. And you know with clarity. And when you see the decider of will, aligned with the woman of battle, there's no question in my mind about the aspects, and again, the subtle energies that you need to walk forward and cause you to come into this place inside of yourself where you are operating in this very clear, centered, grounded energy. Set point is what Spirit is talking about. So, clearly if you look all through the cards, it's another piece of your soul journey, obviously. And the Decider of Will is here, the very next card after we talk about all this transformation and reintegration. The Decider of Will is here to set your soul on the next part of its journey. And there we see him looking into the beautiful woman of art. The representation, and we've talked about this, I feel certain that we've talked about this in prior readings. Your energy is meant to turn into a river and flow out upon the earth from your heart chakra because of your activation through the eclipse. Okay, Spirit's talking about pattern. Through the patterns of energy that come to you. Okay, I get it. Sorry, Spirit. Here in these days, there's going to be a lot of energy coming through to you. Okay, lots of different ways. You may find yourself shape-shifting in various ways as you absorb the energy that's coming through. It's going to cause a lot of movement. It's going to cause a lot of change and some internal upheaval in order to, Spirit says, push you along your journey. Okay? So understand and love that part of it. It's what's meant to happen. Do not, under any circumstances, criticize yourself. And there's a lot of that with the Cancer energy set point because you're so sensitive. It's not about there's something wrong with you. You are in the process of transforming, and that, Spirit's saying, and that's everything right. That's what's right about you, is that you're willing to have the journey and you feel it really deeply. And it's shocking. It might freak you out. But don't worry about it. Because that's, Spirit says, that is your manifestation. Okay? So, the beautiful Sheila Nagi, the image of the feminine portal, the beautiful liberator of devotion, coming through the portal of the eclipse, and this is the bridge card. Right? So we're not seeing it on the spiritual realm where you feel you can't reach it. Spirit's saying it's right where you live. And the beautiful woman of battle looks into the liberation of her devotion. Getting all choked up now. It's so beautiful. Understand that whatever it is that you feel devoted to, these are the moments that you can activate it because you are being liberated into your power by Pluto standing across the sky as we wind our way through the summer. Spirit says, walk in, leap in, okay? And naturally, when you are liberated, when these things come about, and look, Spirit's saying, look at the center row of cards a little bit. When these types of events happen, something shocking happens that you didn't expect. The outcome of that on a spiritual basis is, of course, healing. And we see another woman here, a very powerful woman. She's the woman of knowledge. She has very advanced healing abilities. She is picking herbs and flowers, and Spirit says the energies, from the gravestone of her brother, who was a great healer. So again, the healing that comes as a result of the yin and yang energy, Spirit's talking about whether you are here or there. So there are going to be some days when you're going to really feel way across. Don't worry about it. Whether your energy is here on the earth or across in the sacred realm, these moments are meant to bring profound healing through the feminine portal. It's actually this way, isn't it? Okay? So, again, Spirit always talks about, please understand your journey. And the type of, Spirit's talking about multiple, I don't know how to say it. The many purposeful changes that are coming, each having its own rationale. So, what I'm getting is some chatter about when you become activated and you reintegrate and you come into yourself for the next moments that are meant to unfold. You have the healing. There are many purposeful intentions in that type of evolution. Okay. And you know what? Look at that next card. I love it, Cancer. Oh my gosh. I've been talking about this card with so many of you. I have utter trust in this notion for Cancer. It's about coming home. That's the point. Coming home to yourself in a moment, where'd the card go? When you didn't expect it. You've been asking for it, and all of a sudden the moment comes. Okay? And something runs away with you, an elopement, and you find yourself having this experience and then this experience when you least expected it. You've been asking for it, and I've experienced this. You ask for something and you work on, Spirit's talking about the process of divination. When you go dowsing into your own soul with your human desires, something happens. And eventually, the activation of that energy on a soul level is what sets you on your journey. It is a coming home. So the story in this card is about a young man who was part of a sacred lineage. Okay. Spirit's talking about the Cancer lineage over time, over the, Okay, Spirit's talking about the eons. That's why that picture was chosen for that first little bit of chat. That's the journey you've been having. And you finally arise on a soul level and you take up your place. And because it's new for you, you are freaking out. You don't feel ready. You don't feel worthy. You feel the transformation that's happening. It's your destiny. And all the help and all the wisdom that you need to take the next steps that are going to evolve when we come out of the eclipse season, having been renewed, you will begin this new pathway for yourself. And it is about being a wisdom holder of a certain type, of the water element, and what it is to activate the heart chakra. Okay, Spirit's correcting me. What it is to have your heart chakra activated and then have to tolerate that, because I'm here to tell you, it's intense. And if you invite it in, if you walk through the mystery into the tunnel, Spirit's talking about, you are going to be answered and you are going to be activated. And you will find yourself sitting in your place, having gone through, oops, mosquitoes are coming in, the transformation that's meant for you. And the next card, last card on the spirit realm, it is about understanding the process that you've been through. Once you arrive, you can look back. You can understand what has happened and the purpose of the healing that brought you to this new place in which you will be residing, Spirit says. Look at that. Cancer, I know with certain clarity that many, many, many of you have been through something in your life that looks or feels like this. Spirit's talking about the process of allowing some part of yourself to fall away, and the grieving that happens, and the fear, and the mistrusting the moment, even though you are the cause of it, because you took the action. You had the desire to marry yourself irrevocably. Spirit's talking about the irrevocable moments that come when part of you, and again, yin yang, okay, part of you, however you experience this, begins to fall away and you let it go. And if it's really, you freak out. Okay? I'll tell you, I'm going to talk about this maybe in the next live stream. I just did it. I had to let a part of myself fall away. I had to let go of something that was bringing me a lot of security and just fall into the void, into the terror. And I understand why it's happening because luckily I've been through it a whole bunch of times. So, sorry, I'm getting stuck. These are the moments that you transform. And Spirit's talking about being able to look back now and understand what the process was about, being able to accept it, and to know that in order to transform and re-emerge, there is a death process that has to take place. And because you're a Cancer, you feel it at your heart so deeply. I love this illustration because of all of the notions that are wound up in this card. Spirit's talking about the purity of these moments. Why we see what looks like snow and being out in the mystical realm. To have this experience with yourself in order to let go of that which was binding you so that you could come forward and resurrect yourself into your new life. And that's the very next card, the final card in the spread. Another revelation. So you'll see that I moved them a little apart from the reading. So we have, Spirit's calling them 2 revelation cards. The elopement of knowledge, the sudden moment, the thunderclap of Pluto in your life that comes to awaken you. And the revelation of the knowledge that you gain from having gone through this process as you re-emerge into this place where you are meant to be, reformed and repatterned. The story behind the revelation of knowledge has to do with the moment you come to after working in a solitary way without any reward or any recognition. There's a deep self-knowing that comes to you when you have that kind of struggle in your life. And that's why we see the last 2 cards the way they are. The knowledge that comes in those kinds of moments, it deepens in a way that gives you the ability to come into the deepest form of knowing that you can have about what it is to transform yourself and to go on a journey, go through a death process. Spirit says, collect your healing while you're going through the mystery of the darkness. And the energies that present themselves during the days that you travel in that way. There are 2 notions in this reading about transformation through an unexpected process. So the elopement of knowledge is one of them. It is about sudden transformation, unexpected, in a moment of power. That's the moment we're in now. That's the current moment. And Spirit's talking about then the future. When you come all the way through the journey, you come into this next moment. Spirit's calling it illumination. Talking about the notion of all the transformations that you had to walk through in order to reach this destination. And that's why Spirit's choosing this card. All right. It's about a warrior who was a sole survivor of epic battle, and he lived many, many lifetimes and went through many battles with many invading forces. That's sort of the mythical story behind this. Each time he went through a certain type, Spirit's calling it a stage of death process. And he also morphed into various different animal forms. So I'm going to read to you from the book a little bit. The warrior grew older and older until finally he began to feel a change come upon him. He then shape-shifted into different life forms, witnessing each subsequent change and stage. As a stag, he saw the arrival of people from foreign lands. He changed into the form of a hawk. And finally, with each transformation, he was able to bring to himself the pieces of his life form that were meant to come to him. In the last transformation, he took the form of a salmon. He was caught by a fisherman and served up as a dish for the queen. The queen ate the fish, and his soul passed into her womb. The child was born as a sacred poet who remembered everything from the beginning of time. It's wow. Okay. It is about going into the portal. Go deep. And you are going to have, there's spirits talking, through the cards, wanting me to read from the book. These notions about what happens when you step into the portal. Okay, I'm being asked to transition back. When you step into this type of transformative journey that you are on for the next, Spirit's saying at least a month and a half while these eclipses play out, these are the types of things you're going to experience. You might have some past life regression. You might look back at all the different stages of your transformation in order to, Spirit says, in order to have them. And I believe that is referencing the elopement of knowledge. When you come to these places where you are done with a long transformative process, you come into a heightened awareness of every step of your journey, and you are able to acknowledge it and honor it and live into that place for the next step that is coming forward. So Cancer, just allow yourself to be in a place of transformation and understand the deep work that is happening through your energy set point. And when you understand your own journey, you will understand what is meant to happen here in this place in which we travel together with the energy that you carry. And that's the mission that we're all on. So on that note, I'm going to say thank you. I'm going to leave you with the cards. Cancer, have a wonderful month and a beautiful eclipse season. And thank you very much for all the efforts that you really truly are putting in. I know you are. If you feel willing and able to share some of your story on the thread of discussion below, it's really very helpful to everyone. I invite you to do that, and I look forward to reading about the way in which you experience this type of a journey as you wind your way through the days of the eclipse season. Thank you, Cancer.